Hi, I'm Dr. Marni Wesner and this is Dr. Rosh Wadhwa. We're going to demonstrate for you today a series of exercises that are designed to help you with managing your pain related to your arthritic hips and knees. In this video, we're going to make reference to certain muscle groups that the exercises are designed to strengthen. Rosh, do you want to stand up and we'll show them the exercises? So, the quadriceps muscles is generally referred to as the quads. These are the muscles in the front of your thigh. When these muscles are working, they extend or straighten the knee and flex or bend the hip. The hamstrings are the muscles in the back of your thighs. These muscles flex or bend the knee and they straighten or extend the hip. The gluteal muscles are a group of 3 muscles that commonly are referred to as the glutes. These are the muscles in your buttocks, and they help to rotate the hip in and out, and they're very important for creating a stable or a solid pelvis from which your legs can move. It's important to distinguish the glute muscles from the tensor fasciae lata, or the TFL. This is a muscle that is somewhat at the front and side of your thigh, and it's often used to cheat hip movement when the glutes are weak. The goal of this first phase of exercises is to work at getting the legs straight and to work on getting a full bend to the hip and knee. You will learn to activate your quadricep muscles and how to generate a contraction of the quad muscles. These exercises should be done for 1 to 2 weeks. You may need a bit more time, maybe 2 to 4 weeks, working at these exercises before moving on to phase 2, as the exercises that follow in subsequent phases build on the basic movements and muscle activation that you will learn in this phase. This is done lying on your back on a firm surface. Before you get on the floor, roll up a towel into a log that's about 10 centimeters in diameter. Put this rolled up towel under your knee and lie down flat on your back. This exercise is to teach you to activate your quads muscle, and you do this by gently pushing the back of your knee into the towel and contracting your quadricep muscle. Hold that contraction for 5 seconds. Repeat that exercise for 8 to 10 reps and do 3 to 4 sets. To do this exercise, you will need a small towel or a plastic lid from an ice cream pail. Laying on your back, with your legs straight, put the towel under your heel. The towel works on a solid surface floor like wood, tile, or laminate. If you're lying on a carpeted surface, use a plastic lid or a piece of wax paper. Even a child's frisbee works well. Slowly bend your knee as far up as possible, sliding the foot on the floor. The aim is to be able to fully bend the knees to your buttocks. Once bent, slowly straighten the knee back out. Do 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps of this exercise. Sitting tall in a firm chair, you're going to use one leg to straighten the other one. In this example, we will use the right leg to make the left do the exercise. Put the top of your right foot behind the left ankle and use the right leg to passively push the left leg straight. When you get the left leg straight out, squeeze the left thigh muscles, the quads, and hold that muscle contraction for 5 seconds. Then slowly control the lowering of your left knee back to the knee bent starting position. Do 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. For this exercise, you need a roll that's about 6 centimeters in diameter, such as a foam roll, a roll of paper towel, or even a rolled up hand towel. Lie comfortably on the floor on a firm surface with the back of your knee resting on the foam roll. Keeping the back of the knee in contact with the roll, extend the knee and raise your toe towards the ceiling as you contract your quads. Hold that position and the quads contraction for about 5 seconds, then slowly lower the leg back to the starting position. Do 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. The goal of phase 2 exercises is to progress the difficulty of those learned in phase 1. You'll progress the quadricep strength and start to integrate more movement of multiple joints. These exercises should be done for about 3 to 6 weeks, but you may need a longer period of time, 6 to 10 weeks, to accomplish them well. To do this, you need a sturdy, firm chair that lets you sit at a height with your knee and hip joints bent to 90 degrees. Start by sitting tall and upright on the chair. You can use your hands to hold on to the edge of the seat for balance. Slowly extend your knee out to straighten the leg by contracting your quads. Hold this position for 5 seconds, then slowly return your knee back to the bent knee starting position. The emphasis on this exercise should be on the slow bend or return of the knee back to the starting position. Be sure that you keep a good upright posture throughout this exercise. Don't slump in the chair or bend over from the waist. Do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. This exercise is done lying on your back on a firm surface. The opposite knee is bent to 90 degrees with the foot resting on the floor. Tighten the muscles of the quadriceps in the straight leg, keeping your toes pointed towards the ceiling, and slowly lift the leg up so that it's parallel to the thigh on the bent opposite knee. Hold that position for 5 seconds, then slowly lower the leg back to the ground. Don't let the leg fall back to the floor. Rather, you should concentrate on lifting the leg down and letting the muscles work while moving the leg both up and down in this exercise. Do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Laying on your back on a firm surface, bend the knee to 90 degrees with your feet firmly on the ground. To start off and make this exercise a bit easier, you can rest your arms on the floor beside you. To make this exercise a bit harder, you can cross your arms over your chest. Knees and feet should be shoulder width apart, and it's important during this exercise to maintain good technique and not let the knees or feet cave in or roll in. To do this exercise properly, you need to push through your heels and lift your body and bum off the floor to a position where the hips and knees are in a straight line to the torso. Don't use your back to extend or arch off the ground. Hold this bridge position for 5 seconds, then lower your body with control back to the starting position. Don't let your bum just fall back to the floor. Do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. To do this exercise, you need a firm chair such as a kitchen chair. Sit tall on the chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the ground, shoulder width apart and toes facing forward. Grasp your hands together in front of your chest. Lean forward so your nose is over your toes, and with your quad strength, slowly stand up by pushing down through your legs. To ensure proper form and technique to this exercise, you must not let your knees fall in or out. Rather, you should keep the middle of your kneecap in line with your second and third toes. The emphasis on this exercise is on the control of the motion to rise out of the chair and then to slowly lower yourself back into the chair in a sitting position. Do this exercise 10 to 12 reps, 3 to 4 sets. When you're strong enough, you can modify this exercise to be a bit harder by squatting or lowering only to just touch the chair but not sit down. This phase is all about progressing the difficulty of exercises and more difficult movements that use multiple joints. This also advances the strength around the hip. These exercises should be done for 6 to 12 week period of time, but if you cannot do them on a regular or daily basis and only do them once or twice a week, you may need to work on these exercises for 10 to 16 weeks. Laying on your back on a firm surface, bend the knees to 90 degrees. With your feet firmly on the ground. To start off and make this exercise a bit easier, you can rest your arms on the floor beside you. To make this exercise a bit harder, you can cross your arms over your chest. Knees and feet should be shoulder width apart, and it's important during this exercise to maintain good technique and not let the knees or feet cave in or roll in. To do this exercise properly, you need to push through your heels and lift your body and bum off the floor to a position where the hips and knees are in a straight line to the torso. Don't use your back to extend or arch off the ground. When you reach this bridge position, extend the knee and straighten your leg out into the air and hold this position for 5 seconds. Don't let your hips drop when you extend the leg. Then bend the knee back to the ground and lower your buttocks with control back to the starting position. Don't just let your bum fall back to the floor. Do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. To do this exercise, you'll need a sturdy bench, table, or chair. Laying on your back on a firm surface, bend the knees and hips to 90 degrees with the back of your feet resting on the chair, bench, or table. To start off and make this exercise a bit easier, you can rest your arms on the floor beside you. To make this exercise a bit harder, you can cross your arms over your chest. Knees and feet should be shoulder width apart, and it's important during this exercise to maintain good technique and not let the knees and feet cave in or roll in. To do this exercise properly, you need to push through your heels and lift your body and bum off the floor to a position where the hips and knees are in a straight line to the torso. You should feel the hamstring muscle in the back of your thigh working to do this exercise. Don't use your back to extend or arch off the ground. Hold this bridge position for 5 seconds, then slowly lower your body with control back to the starting position. Don't just let your bum fall back to the floor. Do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Start by lying on your side on a firm surface with your hips and shoulders in line and leaning on your arm with your belly button pointed to the ground. Bend your knee or the leg on top to 90 degrees. Keeping the hips and shoulders in line and the belly button to the ground, slowly open or raise the bent knee. Be sure you don't let your body roll backwards when you're doing this exercise, and you should feel the glute muscles in your bum working. If you feel the TFL muscle in the side of your hip doing the work, you're probably cheating and letting your hips and shoulders out of line. Hold the leg up for 5 seconds and then slowly lower it back to a starting position. Do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Start by lying on your side on a firm surface with your hips and shoulders in line and leaning on your arm with your belly button pointed to the ground. The legs are stacked on top of each other, toes pointing forward. Keeping the hips and shoulders in line and the belly button to the ground, slowly lift the top leg 40 to 50 degrees. Be sure you don't let your body roll backwards when you're doing this exercise, and you should feel the glute muscles in your bum working. If you feel the TFL muscle in the side of your hip doing the work, you're cheating and probably letting your hips and shoulders out of line. Hold the leg up for 5 seconds, then slowly lower it back to starting. Do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Standing on a firm surface, feet shoulder width apart and hands held in front of your chest, slowly lower yourself into a squat until the knees are bent at 90 degrees. Ensure good technique when doing this movement by keeping the middle of the kneecap tracking over the second and third toes, and don't allow your knees to fall in or out as you sink into the squat. And be sure to keep your feet flat on the floor, not allowing them to roll in. The emphasis should be on slow control into and out of the squat. Do 3 to 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps. This phase of exercises continues to progress strength development with more complex movements of multiple joints in the lower extremities. These are exercises to progress over a 12 to 24 week period, but as with the exercises in the previous phases, you may need to progress with this work over a longer period of time. To start, stand with your feet shoulder width apart in a split stance. That is, one foot slightly forward from the other. Be sure your toes are pointing forward. Slowly lower the back leg down into a lunge position while you maintain a straight, upright back posture. You may use a chair back for support when starting out with this exercise. As your muscles work to lower into the squat, be sure that your knee doesn't fall in or out. Rather, keep your kneecap tracking over the second and third toes. The movement should be done with the emphasis on control. Do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. For this exercise, you will need a small stool, or you can use the riser on a stair. With your toes pointing straight forward, step up onto the stool or stair. Ensure you push down through your foot and raise up onto standing on the stool or stair. To do this with proper technique, be sure that your kneecap tracks over your second and third toes and the knee does not fall in or out or your foot cave in. The emphasis is on good form and control as you step up onto the stool or stair using your glutes, hamstrings, and quad muscles. If needed, you may use a chair back or the handrail in the opposite hand for balance. Do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Standing with one foot on the edge of a step or a stair and the opposite foot hanging off the stair, rise up the hanging leg by hiking the hip up and keeping the knee or leg straight. You should raise the hip higher than the opposite side, then slowly lower the leg down again, lower than the level pelvis. This movement is done with a slow hip hike up and a slow hip lowering motion. You may use a table, chair, or handrail for support if needed. Do 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. You may use a chair, pole, or walking stick for balance when you initially start working on this exercise. Stand tall and firm on a level surface, keeping an upright back posture. Slowly raise your hip to 90 degrees while keeping the other standing leg straight. Hold this posture for a few seconds, then slowly lower the leg back to standing without losing your balance. As you get better at this exercise, you should be able to do this without any supports for balance. Using good technique to do this exercise, you should not allow the hip to kick out or fall to the side as you do this motion. Do 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. This is the conclusion of a 6-month progression of exercises that improves pain and function for people with arthritis in the hips and knees. However, because arthritis is a progressive problem, it is vitally important that you continue to work on your exercise program and continue to maintain your strength. You need to get strong and stay strong. As your arthritis progresses, you may need to consider a more individually tailored physical therapy program to meet your needs and to continue to assist in your arthritis management.